And go. Hey guys, we're back at Latour's Auto on Danny's, what is this thing?
Chevy.
Chevy what? Chevy, come on, it's your car, Danny. Aveo. Yeah. So we're back on this. You guys remember the oil in the spark plug holes, the no start. I just want to get, it's not starting still. I just want to get a better history of this. So you said you were driving it and you were losing power. So was it misfiring real bad? Was it like misfiring or just bogging?
Bogging.
Like whoa. And then it just freaking
takes complete stop.
And before that, were you having misfiring? Like all that oil in there, like you were feeling misfires.
Misfire, yeah.
Like the choppiness, like as you accelerated, and then it would clear up. And so we had misfires, but then the bogging was the final piece. When it died, you opened the hood.
And it was glowing red.
Right, the cat was glowing. We thought manifold, we mentioned manifold before, it was the cat that was glowing. I think we caught that at the very end. And then it didn't run again after that. Okay, so we got new valve cover, new coil boots, and we ended up doing the coil housing because it was all burnt. And we'll throw an image in here. Pete took this picture of the old one. The insides was all deteriorated, so that was replaced too. And it is still not starting. I had Pete remove the upstream oxygen sensor, still not starting, in case the cat was plugged. I assume the mass airflow tube is off, so we were spraying fuel into, no reaction, nothing at all. Okay, so we're back, we're handling this no start, and we're prepared. I got the Pico, I got the pressure transducer, timing chain type stuff is what I'm thinking about. Also cylinder compression, plugged exhaust, lack of fuel, lack of spark, all of this stuff is in play right now with where we are with this car. Okay, so next easiest step, just given symptoms, history. The oxygen sensor is already removed. I'm gonna do a real quick back pressure check on the exhaust, cranking. Let's see what we have. By the way, let's address something here. For those of you that don't live in the Rust Belt, one of the things that you have to worry about when you remove an oxygen sensor in the Rust Belt is real rusty threads, and then it pulls the threads off of the sensor. You see that they're already kind of rounded. And this is just addressing where some people are like, just, pull the O2 out, do this, do that. It's like, well, I don't want to pull it out unless I have to, because sometimes you'll end up needing a new sensor and have to rethread the exhaust. So just a side note, but O2 is out. I'm just gonna put this, it's just a simple vacuum pressure gauge, pressure on this side, vacuum on this side, and it's just a melted end already, but that'll work. I'm just gonna hold that in this hole, and we'll have Danny crank it. Yeah, this isn't really fitting over this very well. I should have brought a different adapter, but we shouldn't have any on cranking. The gauge, if the exhaust is restricted, is gonna climb this way. All right, Danny, go ahead and crank it. Okay, yeah, what was that noise? You hear that? Crank that again. Okay. I hear a hiss. That's not good. It didn't overheat on you at all, did it? Ooh, why do we have smoke in here? That's not good. Crank this again for me. Uh-oh. Okay. Danny, whatever we did, this head gasket's blown. I know that because we shouldn't have combustion gases coming out of the overflow bottle on cranking, and so probably, and when something you guys don't know, I was on the phone with Pete. When they started, you were about 25 to 30 psi compression, and we assumed that given the washed out cylinders with fuel having the spark not getting there, whatever, and then I had them put oil in the cylinder and it jumped up to 150, so it was like 25 to 150, kind of confirming cylinder wash. But what led me here is as we cranked it and you let off, I heard a which was combustion pressures leaking out of the cooling system. Crank that again, just watch this. You should never see this. Like you could probably light that with a lighter and it would burn. Like the smell, would you agree the smell of that is raw fuel?
Yeah.
I'd like to light it.
I think that's a terrible idea.
It could make for a really cool video. We're not going to light it.
It's not your car.
I brought my block tester, but I don't have the fluid. I left the block tester in my car, and then the fluid froze on me, and then I ruined it. So I don't have fluid to do that. But that's enough. Like, honestly, we're kind of done. Like, this is head gasket issue. Something, the engine didn't overheat though on you. You didn't have a temperature light, but my goodness. I wonder if we have it down in the, crank it again for me. Just watch this tube. Just seeing if it's blowing into the crank too. No, any smoke you saw was just coming out of the hole of the oxygen sensor. But yeah, I mean, I could fill this to show you. Let's do that, because there's really no other check we need to do, Danny. Unfortunately, I feel like this is something that I should have tested before I made you change these parts. It's just like, given the symptoms, I'm just putting water in the overflow bottle because I want to show when we crank it, we're going to see this water just shoot up. It's just another confirmation for the camera to show you guys that this absolutely has combustion gases getting into the cooling system. And probably what it's doing, we can pull the plugs back up. Probably what it's doing is we're just washing these plugs off with coolant. It's keeping it from starting. You know, this is obviously going to affect compression too, but. I looked away. I was looking at something. I was just making sure that. All right, Danny, crank that. Oh, wait, let me let it stop bubbling first so we get. I just want everybody to see. It's probably going to end up shooting everywhere on us. You might want to have the camera back a little bit, Caleb. My guess is this might actually hit the hood of the car. Go ahead. All right. So if anyone has any questions on that, is that a valid test? Do we need to do anything else? The answer is a resounding no. Like, I came prepared for this to be a little bit more difficult to troubleshoot. There's no reason to check spark. We already did, if you remember, our amperage waveforms, and Caleb can pull this in from our last one. We're seeing the amperage waveforms of these coils firing with the inductive amp clamp. We're seeing the ramp, so we know we had spark. There were no codes other than the 420. We had cam crank signals. We had RPM. We could smell fuel. It doesn't start with ether, right? None of that. There's no other checks that really need to be done on this. I don't think your cat's plugged, at least. We have no back pressure. It doesn't start with that removed. We know we have a 420 code that has to be addressed. This is one of those ones, as long as you communicated with your customer properly going into it, then everything is well. If you didn't communicate properly with a customer, in our case, it's Danny. He's our friend and he knows what's going on. And this was an easy approach, seeing all that oil in the cylinders. And some of you pointed out oil's not conductive, and I'm not going to argue that. Contaminants are, though. It's like water isn't conductive either, but the chemicals in water makes it conductive. It very well could be that what we had originally was this head gasket failure. And the problem is when you see that much oil, you kind of get tunnel vision, like, hey, that needs to be addressed, and maybe the wrong approach here with this one. But that's up for debate in the comments, right? As long as you're communicating with your customer, everybody's fine. Either way, doing the head gaskets and all of that on this car, that oil in the valve cover area needed to be addressed. One other piece I did wrong with this, when we looked at the wiring diagram, I said, well, this is a waste spark because there's only 2 control wires. There was a misprint on the diagram. Let me show you the discrepancy in the diagram. No other symptoms, Danny. You didn't have white smoke coming out of the exhaust, nothing, no overheating. No. Such a strange, and it just bogged on you. Whoa. That's so odd. Like, you'd think you'd have misfiring and overheating and all of that. Like, just so odd. Okay, if you guys remember, for the wiring diagram, what we focused on was the IC timing control, IC timing control in the red and the purple, right? And then we saw on the blue, these next two over, these two guys, we saw a designation says temp sense sig and IC timing sig, and I was like, temperature sensor, why is there a temp sensor in the coil assembly? And then I didn't have an answer for that, and then I said, well, IC timing sig is ignition control timing signal. It's probably a confirmation signal. We left it at that, said it's a waste spark. It's not. This is a coil unplug. I'm gonna highlight all 4 of these wires now. In particular, the one that I have in blue right now, if you look over to the right to the engine computer, it says ignition coil B control. Follow the other side down at the ignition module on the same highlighted blue wire, it says temp sense sig. So this is a misprint. This is a coil unplug. I have you guys to thank for that. One in particular, one of you guys said, hey, go over and look at the engine control module, because I never did. This was a misprint. We'll follow this one up to the IC timing sig, and you see it's ignition coil C control. So this is absolutely a coil unplug system that all the coils are in one housing, and we were mistaken on saying this was waste spark. However, keep in mind, when we were troubleshooting this, we only cared about, was there timing control? Was there coil control? And if you guys remember, we were on the pink wire with our inductive current probe, and we were seeing ramps on the screen telling us what? Spark was taking place. That was the takeaway from what we did. I was incorrect in my designation of this being a waste spark, but nothing else was affected. This is not a waste spark. Just wanted to clarify that part for you guys. I'm just trying to think what else I could show you guys in this. You know, you can get creative with this kind of stuff. If this is a V8 engine and there's 2 banks and you want to know which side, which specific cylinder has the combustion leak, you can actually put a pressure transducer on the coolant bottle and sync it with an ignition firing event, and you can actually figure out what cylinder is throwing combustion pressures. Yeah, I mean, you can get creative. We can compare coolant pressures with cylinder pressures, coolant pressures with intake manifold pressure. You can do all kind of creative things in identifying a problem, but I'm not going that route. It's just not necessary. This is an extremely bad one. And what else is interesting for us, and maybe we can handle some myths that are out there, which is, oh, if you have head gasket failure, you're gonna have coolant in the oil. And that's true, but the timing of the event matters what you're gonna see in the oil. Come here. If you were to look at that. Danny, did you guys change this oil too?
You gotta change the oil too, yeah.
All right, so the oil was changed, so that test isn't great, but another one is the oil cap. Like, there's no indication of you know, that mixture of oil and water, which gets to be like a nasty kind of gooey, grayish material. None of that's there. So your signs of head gasket, you can't make those statements that, oh, it's gonna have, you know, contaminants in the oil. You're gonna see it. No, this wasn't driven very long is the answer for that condition, for that all to happen and mix up. Another one would be that you'll see contaminants in the coolant. You can see there's some, it looks like hydrocarbons inside of that cooling system. It could just be, you know, contaminants, old coolant, but so we do have some stuff in there. I wouldn't look at that like as a smoking gun. I wouldn't be like, oh, see, there's combustion stuff in there. There's oil in there. Kind of hard to make that call. The only other thing we can do is let's pull this coil housing off, pull the plugs, and just see if we see coolant in the cylinder. Probably will. Some of you might be thinking, well, how did you narrow in on the head gasket issue so quickly? Well, one, it was on my mind, but two was the hiss that I heard when Danny stopped cranking, and that hiss was coming from that coolant bottle. Yeah, look, that's soaking wet. See the shininess on it. All right, right here. That one's fuel. You guys watching that, you're like, what are you doing? Coolant has a little bit of a sweetness to it, or a bitterness to it. Now they add a little bit of bitter stuff to it You see this one's wet too. It's never gonna run. Never gonna run. That one has a little bit of a sweet taste to it. Maybe just because I want it to. It doesn't matter. We're getting major combustion gases in this cooling system. Major. Again, another wet one. That's the one. Tastes like sugar. Cylinder 3. So, I'm not suggesting everyone lick a spark plug, but we had this case study on this old GM 3800 that we had 3 parts in and I couldn't get the car started. I had everything I needed. And part 3, the beginning of it was like lick the spark plug. It was legit. Yes, I licked all the spark plugs. That spark plug tastes like sugar. That one's sweet too. 3 and 4. These two cylinders. Let's see if you can get this shot, Caleb. Like straight down at it. Look first. You can see the tops of the pistons. And I don't see puddles of water. So what I would like to do is you get a shot of all of them. Yeah. And then I'm gonna get a pressure tester on the coolant bottle and we're gonna put pressure in there and we're gonna watch it run into the combustion chamber. Okay. As Caleb's trying to get these images, I wanna be clear about something, that this test may fail. And the reason why is we're only talking about 15 PSI of coolant pressure. When you're talking, 100 some PSI of compression pressures, which way is it gonna go? If the leak is not to the point where 15 PSI can overcome it, but 100 can the other way. So this test may not show us anything. I'm just trying to give you guys something else. There we go. Okay, I pumped it to 17. There it is. There it is. Nice. Cylinder 3. Look at that. Nice. It's filling the cylinder right now. Oh, that's a good shot. That's awesome. We didn't even need the bore scope. Here, I'll pump it again. Watch. There you go. I mean, it's not often that you can do that. Look at that. Wow, that's bad. That's bad. There's some in, looks like cylinder 2 as well. Like when I first licked the plugs, I was like, well, I want it to be remember I said number 2? I was like, well, yeah, I kind of want it to be number 2. Number 2. Yeah, you can see the, oh yeah. As I shake the car, there's water in 2. Where's that 3? Where's your camera at? That's 2. That's 2. 3 is like full. Wow. 2 and 3. Are we getting it in 4 as well? I didn't see it in 4. It's in 4 as well. That's so it's 3 cylinders.
Did we look at
2, 3, and 4? What's that?
Did you put it on 1?
Yeah, I did. 1 is clear still. No, it's not. 1's full too. All 4 cylinders. Hey, Danny.
Yes, sir.
There's one last piece to this. If you're a paying customer, okay. This is one. What's the mileage on this engine?
200 something.
This is a 200,000 mile engine. If this wasn't Danny's car, I absolutely would not recommend putting a head gasket on this. All of that water that we just saw, where does it go? In the crankcase. Wipes bearings. So then you're talking about what type of head work does this need? Is the head warped? Sure looks like it. Could be just a flat out blown gasket. All 4 cylinders got water in them. You just got to tread carefully here. You might want to consider looking for a used engine. Instead of putting all that money in the top end, only to find out when you're done that it's got a bearing knock when you're done. Do you know what I mean? We need to tread carefully. These are things you guys need to think of. If the customer doesn't want to go that route, you better put down on your repair order everything, write everything down, take pictures, take notes, record conversations, cover your ass, because this is the kind of job that garages lose out on. They do all the head work that needs to be done, and when they're finished, it has a bearing noise, and they don't know until they're done. 200,000 mile engine with that severe of a head gasket failure, tread carefully. Guys, I hope you learned something. Bad news for Danny on this front. I'm sorry, Danny. But great teaching video for all of us. Hope you guys learned something, and we'll see you next time. So off camera, Danny made a good point about this. There were no symptoms before. No overheating, no knocking, no poor, just bogged and then died. It is possible that this is okay. The bottom end of the engine's okay. It's possible. I'm only warning garage owners. That's really who I'm speaking to about selling a job like this. Tread carefully. Danny might be okay. We can pull the head and, take our chances going that route. Just tread carefully, guys. So as I'm cleaning up, I'm just like thinking about this one, and I'm like, well, these are the ones that can get you in trouble with your customers, right? We said, hey, oil leaks, cylinder, like we pulled that housing off. It's like obvious. Do this first. And then you do all that with say a diagnosis, not in our scenario, but in a regular garage with a regular customer. And now you hit them with, hey, you basically need an engine. How could we have avoided this problem? And that's not a question that I necessarily have an answer for. There's multiple reasons. Would love to hear your thoughts. But given the symptoms, it bogged on me and died. The exhaust manifold's glowing red. Never overheated, no noises, no banging, no tapping, no knocking, nothing like that. Given those symptoms, how many of us think head gasket failure, right? Like you pull the coils and they're filled with oil and you're like, oh, bad head gasket. No, this is like the furthest thing from my mind. Even interviewing Danny today and getting that information from him, I would have never thought head gasket. Underlying this whole thing, this was a head gasket issue. Could we have caught this from the get-go? I think really the answer is yes. Here's what we didn't do. I stopped and handed it off. You're in a shop, you're not stopping. What are you gonna do? Given the sound of the engine, we heard it, low compression. Given the sound of the engine, we would have sold a compression leak down test when we heard the no compression cranking, right? What are you gonna do? Cylinder wash from the oil, that was our call. I think maybe that's the answer. A compression leak down test should have been sold. Caleb and I should have not stopped and kept going, did the compression leak down test, and what would we have found in a compression and leak down test? Head gasket failure. I mean, that's one answer, but there's many. You can understand the misdirection that can happen. And I just wanted to bring that question up to everyone. How could we have avoided this? I don't want to call it a miscall. It was part of the problem, but it was not the problem. And as others have stated in the comments from part 1, oil is not a conductor. And that had been that way for a long time. We saw a problem, but it wasn't the problem. The problem was head gasket. It's upsetting to me that we missed it, but that's why we missed it. Think about that one. Be thorough in what you do and don't cut corners. In this case, our cutting corners was, this is an obvious problem. Let's address this first. It's just a valve cover gasket and some boots. It's not expensive. Let's do that first. That's kind of our one friend to another type thing, which is totally different than how you handle this in a garage. And that's why I'm kind of beating a dead horse here, is what do you do in a garage environment? Don't cut corners. Don't apologize for how you're selling these jobs. Sell the test. Sell the test. What's the test? Compression leak down. After your initial diagnosis, okay, I got spark, I got fuel. This sounds like it has a compression problem, and we're gonna sell that test. That's what should have been. That's how this should have been done, and we definitely would not have missed that. I'm sure there's more. Would love to hear your comments, guys. Thanks so much. We appreciate you guys being with us. Finally, third time now. See you next time.